think our O-line is better. I think our run game is better. I think our defense is better. I just think our special teams is better. We're just overall a much better team than we were last year.
Joe, not having the snow affect your high-power offense. What does that say about your team?
Well, we like practicing outside in inclement weather. I guess, is that the right word? I think it's the right word. But we like, you don't get a ton of those, and so when we do get the snow, rain, wind practices, you got to take advantage of those and use those as reps for when you do get in these situations. Good? Anything else? Thanks.
Thanks, Joe.
Voice of the NFL on CBS joins us. Tony Romo stopping by. Tony, a comprehensive effort here out of the Cincinnati Bengals against the Buffalo Bills on the road. I want to get to a number of things, but just surface level, how were they able to dictate the pace of this game so convincingly?
Well, they had an incredible plan. I think that people underrated the physicality of this football team. Cincinnati was unbelievable at tackling all year. That doesn't seem like a big deal, but what that tells me is when you are like the top tackling team in the National Football League, that means you keep leverage, you understand, technique, your fundamentals, and you know where your help is as a teammate and where you're, basically where the other guy's coming from. And this team is so well coached on both sides of the ball that they do all the little things really well, and they're a fundamentally, sound team. And then all of a sudden you sprinkle in like some dynamic players on offense, and now you're like, whoa, we've got high-level coaching. And then the plan from Lou Anarumo today with some great players. I mean, this is a very formidable opponent that's going to be very hard for anyone to beat.
There is no doubt about that. We got to talk about the quarterback here as well, because when we size up these contemporaries, really the guys at the top of the list in the game right now, we measure them against one another. After this game, Joe Burrow now 4-0 against Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen combined in his career. What makes him the alpha amongst alphas?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that yet. I am going to say that he's there with them. I mean, these guys are all very similar. Mahomes has been the standard for a while. Before then, it's been Brady. And Brady really, you got to remember, he beat Mahomes just a couple years ago. So it's like this passing of the guard takes time. It doesn't just happen in one game or even two. But I do think that Burrow, what he's done now, today was really the day to where it's like, regardless if he wins or loses next week or next year, how it goes, he's in that discussion fully. Like, he's right there. I think Allen and Mahomes have always had, just the physical gifts that you could see. It passes the eye test where you're like, wow, not everyone can do that. And so you put them way up there. But Burrow does these things that are really hard for people to describe, the gifts that are there. And what they are is just spatial awareness, the ability to, know the game, but also to use his instincts at a very high level. He looks off people. He gets people more open than they should be. He could check it down on 3rd and 10, and all of a sudden a tight end can get a first down, Hurst, simply because he made a guy move a little more before he threw it to him, and then perfect ball placement allows that to happen. So some of these subtle things that he does are just so high level. It reminds me of Peyton Manning.
Generational talents, and we get to see them go head-to-head once again for the second consecutive season. Cincinnati and KC at Arrowhead. Tony Romo on the call. I mean, what more can we ask for, Tony, as we get ready for this one? We're going to talk about it all week, but just an early look at that matchup. It's two teams you know well that you've seen throughout the season. In your opinion, what's going to be one of those discerning factors between those two teams on Sunday?
Well, the biggest thing is going to be the health of Patrick Mahomes. That's number one. I mean, that high ankle sprain, you could play through it that day. It gets worse. It doesn't get better. It's not like, oh, he played. He'll be able to play no matter what next week. The next 4 days are going to get much worse. I mean, by Wednesday, it's going to be, just turned into almost like a softball on his ankle, and right in that area. It'll be black and blue, and he'll have a really hard time having any movement or being able to push off it. And I think that's the biggest key right there. The second part will just be the plan, because Cincinnati did an incredible job of adjusting versus Mahomes and the Chiefs and keeping them really off balance with some of the stuff they did. But now the Chiefs have seen them, and, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are really good at, once they've seen what's worked against them, at really being prepared the next time around. So this is going to be a thrilling game. I'm very excited about this one. I mean, these teams are outstanding and super well coached all the way around.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be on CBS, and Tony Romo is going to be on the call. Tony, we appreciate you as always.
You got it. Thanks. Appreciate you guys.
All right, taking a look at some numbers here. Already set for our AFC title game in KC. As we said, Burrow, 3-0 all-time against Mahomes, now 1-0 against Josh Allen, 4-0 against those we hold in the highest regard. So Joe Cool, doesn't matter who he's staring down, you know you're going to get his best. And when the offensive line keeps him upright, be careful. They might be headed back to the Super Bowl for the second consecutive season. Back in studio with the two-time champ Bryant McFadden. B-Mac, got to get an early pick here before they kick in the nightcap. NFC, we're talking San Francisco, we're talking Dallas, we're talking history.
No question.
Anytime you get those two teams together.
Prestige.
Taking a look at the numbers, 3.5's the line in favor of the home side, 46.5 is the total. Mac, where are you taking us?
Well, I think this will be a low-scoring game. I think both defenses will have success against both opposing offenses. And with that being said, give me the boys getting points. I'm not saying that I expect for the Cowboys to outright win this ball game, but okay. Joe, I expect the boys to cover the spread. You said it's 3.5. I got mine earlier in the week. I bought up to 5 points. I feel real comfortable with the 5 points. I think Dak Prescott will have success against this much heralded defensive unit from San Francisco, and I do believe we will see some issues coming from the young stud in Brock Purdy. He might not look as pretty as he's looked in past ball games based on that pass rush that he will see standing opposite of him coming from the Cowboys. Like I said, we them boys.
You know who your best friend is when they're bringing pressure? 85. Get the ball to Kittle. I'm playing him over his 3.5 receptions. You're paying a price there around -150. I'm comfortable moving that to an alt line at 4.5. It's going to be Kittle early, Kittle often. He's been the security blanket for Purdy here in this undefeated tenure. We'll see how it all goes down in Santa Clara. Go on, it would lead to another field goal. Bengals up 27-10. Now a 3-possession game. Got to get something this time out here from Allen and these Bills, but that would not be the case. Stephon Diggs wanting the ball here, letting Josh Allen know it both on field and off. And you're starting to hear those Who Dey chants come down on the CBS broadcast because it's almost there. Just over a minute to play. Allen, chasing 17. What are you going to do? You keep playing, but you're going to get picked. No Trying to make something happen down the field to Cole Beasley, but intercepted by Taylor Britt. And just like that, the Bengals heading to their second consecutive AFC title game for the first time in franchise history. Back-to-back AFC title games. It's going to be a rematch as the Bengals and the Chiefs will face off at Arrowhead, and there's only one place, CBS. Burrow now 3-0 head-to-head in matchups with Patrick Mahomes. Remember that. He's 4-0 if you want to add the 1-0 with Josh Allen. So 4-0 against Allen and Mahomes. He'll try to make it 5-0, and he'll need to if he's going to get through good time Patty Mahomes and that bum ankle. But there's a lot there in Kansas City. We're going to talk about it all week long. But as for this one, 27-10, your final Bengals, 30 first downs, did not turn the ball over and collect their 10th consecutive win to extend the longest win streak in franchise history. At the wagering window, Bengals were catching 6. Told you keep them. Didn't need them. Better than 2-1 on the money line, and the under comes through.
The world thinks we got a bunch of killers in this locker room, man. You don't care what they throw at you in any way, shape, or form. You just walk on the field and take care of business, and the whole world knows that now. I love you guys. Hey, we talked last night. They had the best home playoff record in the NFL. It went from 13-1 to 13-2. I love it. Got some game balls, man. Hey, we were able to hold them in 10 points because our defense played their tails off, led by our defensive line. Defensive line, you all get game balls. Sam Harvard, that's wrong. It came at an appropriate time. First career interception. Hey, when you go on the road, in the playoffs, bad weather, you got to pack your run game. Rush for over 170 yards. Joe Mixon, 20 for 105 and a touchdown. Last 3 special teams, man. You go in the this environment with the snow.